I was just going to say, I think we could probably get started because we're at quorum now, and some of the folks that might join us late, they can just jump right in. But we've got a quorum, so are folks okay with getting started now?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to just share my screen and pull up the agenda.
What? I didn't hear.
I'm going to just share my screen so you'll see the agenda right there. Can you hear me okay now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we did our welcome. We're here. It took us a week, but we've got it together. And I did talk with Convi about we'll get the actual Zoom link up. I should mention a piece of this confusion has to do with the fact that all of a sudden Town Hall is not accepting emails from Hotmail accounts, which happens to be the account I use to contact Ed. So when I tried to schedule the Zoom meeting, I just never heard from him because you don't get a bounce back or anything. And I didn't follow up because he usually just gets it to me. So then that kind of just set everything back a little bit. But now that we're using the library Zoom account and I can log in and create the meetings, I can make the link as we need it and get it to Convi, who just popped in, and get it to Convi right away. So we should have no problem with that in the future. So last minutes, I'm going to pull those up right now. Were there any? I was absent. That is correct. Were there any suggestions? I can kind of, hopefully people have already reviewed them, but I can scroll through if we need to.
I just had some little things. Under Curbside Pickup, to set up a Gmail account, it shouldn't be an Gmail account. That's teeny weeny. Do you want the teeny weeny things,
Sure.
Linda?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then under videos, where it says videos for a website and YouTube, period. One is about using the Boss Public Library card. How's that? Do you want me to repeat that, Linda?
Yes.
So videos, and Emily, our staff member, has been busy making videos for a website and YouTube, period.
And where is that?
Under videos on the second page.
Oh, I don't have that.
Right here.
I got the wrong minutes.
Oh, do I have the wrong minutes?
No.
It's Jan. Yeah, I have the right ones. I can just send the two corrections to you, and or do I have to do it right now? I don't know.
Hold on.
Let's do it now so we can vote.
It's January 7th, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I had December.
So under Curbside Pickup at the top of page 2,
Yeah.
the fourth line, to set up a Gmail account.
Okay.
And under videos, Emily, our staff member, has been busy making videos for our website and our YouTube, or just YouTube, period. One is about. That's all I have.
Okay. Got it.
Any other corrections or comments? Okay, can I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
I
Okay.
second.
I'm going to go around and do a roll call, but, oh, okay, that's Mark. I couldn't tell from the name. All right, Jen?
Slippery, aye.
Jessica Huffnagel, aye. Beth?
Aye.
Barbara? Nope, sorry. Jim?
Aye.
Maxine?
Aye.
Debbie?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Convi?
Aye.
Mark?
So I count? Aye. Mark, aye.
Okay. So we'll go back to the agenda, and any committee Well, this is committee membership. I took the agenda that was actually posted
Yeah.
online, so we're following through. Committee membership, we haven't really talked about in a little while. I'm thinking once we have some changeover, we'll want to talk about that again when committees get back to normal. Do we have anything from the Friends that we need to talk about?
No, Candy Iwanicki is paying the bills that come in, and she's given us some money for programs, because, for that Frozen thing. There were different items that Johanna bought, but they haven't been meeting.
Okay, so I think we can move over now onto the director's report then. So let's see if I'm going to pull up the right one. There we go. There's our director's report. I can even zoom it in a little for you.
Okay, the budget was due on Monday. I did have it done, but I was having trouble with the spreadsheet that Ed sent us. So I sent it to him. I typed in the figures and sent him the notes, but it wasn't in the Excel sheet, so it wasn't acceptable. Yesterday, I figured out how to do it. I did go over there and look at how it looked on his screen, and it didn't look that way on my computer, but I figured out a way to download it and save it to my desktop and send it to him, and he said he got it. So the only thing is, I filled in one budget with the MAR, which totaled $170,056, which is our MAR. But Ed wrote me back and said that the library has to follow the same rules as the other departments and is required to submit a budget under tab 1. So tab 1 is to what it said. Level funded, but includes contractual increases with explanation. Budget 2 is additional requests needed to run your department. Explain in order of priority 1 to 5. So I gather that the second budget, they're hoping to do a Prop 2.5 possibly. I don't think they think they're going to have the money except for the first budget. So I think we need to discuss what to do here. And I've talked to a number of people. I talked to Jessica. I talked to Becky Plimpton, who's the director at Sturbridge. So I think we have a couple of options, but the main thing is that we are getting a waiver this year, but that doesn't change the MAR. The requirement goes up every year, regardless of how much you've been reduced. So we didn't get our requirement last year, which was, I think, 167 something. Yeah, I have it in the notes.
Yeah.
And so it's gone up from 167 to 170, and it's going to continue to do that every year. So if we get cut every year, or if we even stay the same, we're going to be further away from the requirement every year, and it gets harder and harder to catch up. I did talk to somebody at the Mass Board of Library Commissioners about that. So that's the problem.
Well, how do we fix it, Barbara?
Well, that's what we have to talk about. I see two options: is to put the 170,056 in each budget 1 and budget 2, but I don't think the select board will be very happy with that. So another option is the MAR is kind of contractual. I mean, what is contractual?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. It's really a contract that we have with the state, and if we want the money, then we have to follow the regulations. So to me, it is really a contractual.
Right.
Maybe not in a formal sense like a union, but it's contractual.
Yeah, I think the verbiage relating to that, which I don't have, would be important because I would imagine they're really talking about wages, right?
No, it's a municipal appropriation requirement.
No, I
And
mean
it's-
about when they refer to contractual.
Oh, I don't know. He didn't tell me. I think actually I did ask him about it, Ed, and he said that it's any kind of contract we have, like it could be our contract for maintenance might go up. You know, any kind of contract. That's what he said.
Yeah, then I would go along with throwing in the MAR.
Yep, put it in.
Yeah.
Well, Becky suggested, she said she doesn't know the people on the finance committee or the select board, but we could increase our budget so that we reach a little bit closer to the MAR in the first one, like put in enough staff to reopen our full hours in the next fiscal year. And also our utilities, it was actually higher than what we have here. I checked the final figures for last fiscal year, so we could add something in there. So that's what we have to discuss, which route we want to take. And I really feel bad about the, not reaching the MAR.
I think we should go for the MAR.
I agree.
I mean, because it's only going to put us behind every year, and the amount is going to get worse. So I think, we bite the bullet, or whatever that saying is, for this year, and we need to go back to that. That's, it's
I agree with Convi. I think we should ask for what we really need to
that's what we need.
not lose our certification.
Right.
Yeah.
We're never gonna, I shouldn't be so negative, but it's gonna be really hard to cover ground if we've lost if we've not met the MAR for 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I'm chuckling.
I feel like we don't ask
Barbara's-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just chuckling because Barbara's report starts with forecasting for a very tight budget. When haven't we heard that?
Right.
That's every year.
Yeah.
I just think if we don't ask for what we need, I mean, it's better to ask for what you need and have them take some of it out. Because we only give them level funded. That's what we're going to get. Or maybe we'll get.
Or less. We might even get less.
Right.
Yeah. I think we should go into one as a contract, because it is in a sense a contract, and they can argue with us, and then we could have the second budget with whatever those 1 through 4, and then have that just in case they absolutely refuse to take it from.
Well, I didn't catch that last part, Connie.
In other words, go in with number 1 for the whole thing, and then if they give, they say, we're not taking this budget, absolutely, that's not a contract, then I would go with the second option with justification. You said there were 4,
Okay, so the first one is the level funded with contractual. They didn't, and then the second one is where you ask for what you need to run your department, which would be more than budget 1, and that's where you put your priorities.
All right.
I was going to put payroll as number 1. Can't run the library without the staff. Not to mention maintenance and electricity. But.
Yeah. But also, it's our certification. We can't run we can run a library, but we can't. Nobody's going to be able to order any books, and so yeah.
Right.
So you're saying put $170,056 in budget 1 and budget 2?
I think you put the 170 in budget 1, and that budget 2 is
more.
More. I mean, isn't that really what you're saying? That even at 170, we're a little tight? Is that correct?
Well, we could run it on 170, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Will we meet certification on 170?
170 and 56, yes.
Okay. Then
that's exactly what it is.
So this is a change for us, right? Because the previous years we've adjusted to fit what the town is asking us to say. And we haven't.
Well, in previous years, we always got our MIR.
Oh, okay.
We had to fight for it one year, but this is our own first year that I've been there. I've never had a waiver before, and that's why I didn't quite understand how it worked. I still don't quite understand what happens down the road. I know that I think in a couple years we'd have to go talk to the MBLC about what the plan is to get the library back to the MIR, but I don't know what happens. It's a 5-year program, and I don't know what happens after like the 3rd year.
Barbara,
Yes.
with regard to library wages, in budget 1 you have 64,422, and in budget 2 you have 71,148.
That's the substitute line. What we did when they cut us last year, we got rid of the substitute line. So it's very hard to take vacation, personal, sick time right now. And that's why we had to close on Monday, because with that slash, we couldn't run the library on Monday. So that's the difference in the second one, library wages, is the substitute line has been put back.
Yeah.
And then you got the budget notes, and I explained that kind of thing in the budget notes.
Right. Now, what I was trying to see is, I just multiplied budget 1 by 1.02, and it was less than the figure in the budget 2. But I agree. I think maybe budget 2 should be put in as budget 1. I mean, how can you operate without substitutes?
I know. Yeah. And
it's really level funding. You're just returning to what our level funding was, or should have been.
In order to make the certification.
well, how's the select board going to look at this? We're going to have to defend it, of course.
Well, I mean, obviously, we want as a responsible department, we want to be as cooperative as we can with, with the town. But how do you define level budget, level funding? Last year, we didn't have any wiggle room for substitutes, right? So,
Well, this year is the one we have no substitutes. This current year.
Handle, and the library's been essentially closed.
On Monday, yeah.
So
well, the problem is, we're not taking a week anyway because of COVID. But when COVID's over, people will want to take a whole week, and that's very difficult without substitutes,
And from what I hear is it's very likely that we're going to be close to normal by April with the vaccines and so forth, and the library is going to be open more. I mean, when you go before the select board, obviously it's level funding for normal operation.
Right, because we've done over 2,700 curbside bags. Now we're bringing out new books for people to browse on Thursdays outside the library. We were open a little bit, for a few months where people came in. So, yeah, hopefully we will be moving to more opening.
Can I when we're... Go ahead. Sorry. When we're back to some kind of normal, too, this is the concern I have with not having a substitute. Besides the fact it's crazy to operate without substitutes. When we're back to some kind of normal, people are going to have to take days off if they have the sniffles, or if they have, things that people would normally maybe go into work with. Like, people are going to need to be not doing that, especially when we're open to the public. So I feel like the need for substitutes might even go up than what it was pre-COVID, because people should be a little bit more cautious with that. So I'm not comfortable not having a substitute budget. I mean, besides the MAR stuff, right?
But I think the other thing we have to emphasize to the town is that every year that we don't meet this, we're getting more and more in debt, so to speak. And it's going to be harder and harder to climb out of this, and that we will, they may grant us a second waiver. They won't go beyond 2, I doubt it. I unless the whole state is in the same boat. So right. I don't think we can count on that. And I think we go to the select board and say, listen, we did this last year, we got the waiver, but we need to go back. And we mentioned this last year to them. We didn't emphasize it, and I'm sorry now that we didn't. But I think we just have to say this: we can't further back. We have to have the minimum, and it's a minimum.
Well, you know what happened last year was, remember, I didn't even know about that budget meeting until the night before, and I didn't know that it was like the budget meeting. So no trustees were there, and I was totally shocked. So you all, a lot of you came to the second one, but that was part of the problem with the last one. And I understand that they're hoping to do it the old way, where we go to the finance committee first, and they do the full finance committee. Does anybody know Ken Cole, I think his name is? He's the head.
Yeah, Ken is the, I'm familiar with him. I think if it's the same guy, he drives for the senior center, and he's a very, very well-informed gentleman. From what I understand, he was former CO for a bank. So,
yeah, I'll check through my notes, but I think that's who it is. And the names are supposed to be posted on the.
I think going to the finance committee would be a good idea.
It is Ken Cole.
I
that's
to go in high. I really do.
What?
And I think we have to just this time stand our ground and just say, listen. And I think the finance committee and I think the select board would understand the concept of the fact that the longer we go, the more money, and we may not be able to even get back. Because they just don't turn around and give you certification. You have to, unless they've changed it, you still have to wait like a year before you get your certification back. So this is not okay, next week we get it, and I don't think they understand that.
Well, okay, so this waiver that we have because of COVID, it's not going to count as part of the 5 years.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah. So about 50 libraries applied for a waiver. Only 4 were disproportionately cut. We were almost at the disproportionately cut, but we were just under. But they did make some allowances. But next year would count as the first year in the 5-year cycle.
Okay.
Well, I'm not a financial person, but I do like money. Don't get me wrong. But I think we have to say. I mean, luckily, we should go to this guy, the finance committee, because maybe he can help us with the language that explains it. This isn't just a whim on our part. It's, you know what I mean? It's like we don't want to. It's not like an emotional. We got to sell them on the library. This is a financial commitment that we have to meet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the big thing is we want to comply. We want to help the town as much as we can, but we can't just sacrifice the whole library.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. We go for it.
It sounds like the agreement, and do we need to take a vote on it, Jessica? Do you need to take a vote?
I don't feel like this is a voting map.
No.
Yeah, no, not for something like this. It looks like you're looking for advisement. I'm seeing lots of head shakes.
Right,
yeah.
So it sounds like the agreement is that the minimum MAR, which is $170,056, would be in column 1. And then it would be a little bit more in the other column, because that would be like the Prop 2.5 thing, and we could get more of what we need. But the first column would be the minimum for the requirement.
Yeah,
I do think it might even be worth using the language that we got a waiver to break our contract last year. That this if we're going to really stick with that language, that we broke our contract last year and we received a waiver to do that in light of COVID, and we don't want to make that a habit.
Well, and right, it's not even that. And we have to meet our obligation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Yep, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
It's only money.
Is it possible the trustees could write a supporting letter or something because I told Ed that I was going to discuss it with you. You know.
You know
Well,
what, I'm kind of curious
Go ahead.
about what their response is too, because I think how I would write the letter would depend on if they say, yep, that's a contractual obligation, then it seems like we just need to be there to show support. If they say this doesn't count as a contract, then I might write a different letter. You know, like, so I think that just saying support our library, I want to be a little bit more strategic, if that makes sense, about kind of like what their concerns are.
I tend to agree with you, Jessica, but I'm wondering, do we have a signed document with MAR?
All I have is an email where there's a formula for it. And I have an email where I was wrong in my formula because I used the reduced amount. And she said, no, you have to use the MAR we didn't get. So she has her formula. That's an email.
But I mean, going way, way, way back when we first joined them, was there any kind of a signed agreement?
We have a contract with CW Mars, but MAR is the Mass Board of Library Commissioners, and it's a statewide thing, and this is their formula, you know, so it's been their formula for a long time.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, nothing signed.
Yeah.
No, we have something signed with CW Mars, and that we pay that out of for a state grant, which it's almost $9,000.
You know, Barbara, this might be something though at a future library director meeting to bring up to the library board to say, you know, you may be wanting to have some kind of language with the library so that, because this is the kind of thing that we're coming up against, and we're not the only library, and so maybe they should have some kind of a formal document contract with the library so that acknowledges that.
I am meeting with some members of the MBLC next week too, and I'll bring it up to them directly.
Yeah. Jessica, could you ask if there is some sort of document?
If it is a contract that none of us remember, because like when the library was founded or something.
And if it's not, it seems statutory, right? I mean, it's.
Yes, I think it's statutory.
It's statutory. You're right, Jim. It's statutory. Yes.
You don't join it voluntarily. I mean, if you want to be certified, we have to do it.
Right.
Right. It is statutory. So is that contractual or?
Well, it's in there. We can cite the stat. We should get the stature, the language of that.
Yeah.
Where would we find that, Barbara?
Probably on the MBLC site, I think. I could, do you want me to email and see if I can get it from the MBLC?
I think it would be helpful.
Good.
All right, email Liz. So it's the wording for the MAR, right?
Right.
What's the actual,
What's the statute relative?
Yeah, the statute, the number, what's the actual wording in that?
Okay.
Right, because we're trying to explain our obligation.
Yeah.
And I think it would be helpful for all of us to be aware of it, because I think then we could explain it further ourselves,
I had an idea along the lines of not contractual, but more emotional. We could ask some of the patrons to just write notes or letters or draw pictures about what the library means to them, and if it was able to be used as it is now, what that would mean to them.
Well, most of the patrons don't even realize, the whole budget thing.
Right.
And
but they don't need to know the details of the budget, but they can still say what the library means to them.
Right. It's a different layer, right?
Yeah. It doesn't mean anything if you don't want it to be, but it can be persuasive in a certain way.
Yes. Yes.
Well, you're right, because when we got our override that time, which is, I don't know how many years ago, but it was a few years ago.
A million.
There was a big outcry and big support, for us, and we appealed to that. So I think Jessica's point about let's see what their response is, and then maybe we're going to be okay. But if not, then I think, Linda, you're right. I think we pull out the big guns and we get the Friends of the Library to put it out on social media and get those letters and support if they say no. So that should be like our plan. We should know that we may have to do that.
Yeah, it's just an idea.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea. Yeah, it's a very good idea. No. So.
And this is why we're.
Oh, go ahead, Barbara.
This is why we asked Emily to do the video. Go ahead, Beth.
No, I was just going to say I'd whip out my acrostic again. Yeah, okay. Silly, sorry.
You want me to pull the director's report back up?
Sure.
Okay.
So to finish on the budget, it sounds like we're supposed to meet with the Finance Committee and then the Select Board. So I don't think the actual Select Board meetings will happen in February, but it's hard to tell right now when they would be. So,
Hey, does anybody know where John Martin went?
Removed.
I know, he's a neighbor, but I didn't know he was moving out of town.
He's no longer on the Select Board then?
He
just resigned.
He comes to the meeting, but he can't vote, is what I understand.
Oh.
Sorry.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. If you look at the Select Board agenda, that's where I first saw it.
I saw it too. I was wondering where he was going.
Yeah. Okay.
So in the budget notes, you all got the budget notes, right? I did put in, how much the state grant is. I put in how many items we borrow from other libraries. That's, the interlibrary loan. And
when did your wages go up, Barbara?
We haven't gone up in a few years.
When have yours gone up? Ever?
Only the COLA maybe 3 years ago. I'm pretty sure it hasn't gone up for the COLA for 2 years, but no, my wages haven't gone up in a while.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right to me.
No, it's not right.
No.
I think in this time, it might be hard to try and get better wages right now.
Unfortunately, Barbara, I think you're right. It's not right, but I think
we say that every fucking year.
I know, Beth, but
sorry.
I mean, we've got to get our certification budget. That's what we've got to get, and then we've got to get back to that. So,
right?
They're not granting the cost of living wages.
I don't know, but I don't know. They didn't last year, and I don't think they did the last year before that. And I guess it'll depend on what the money actually is that they, the revenue. But they're not talking about a COLA. But the departments that have unions, they usually do get raises, I think, right?
Yeah, I think they get raises every year.
Yeah, if it's in a contract, yeah. They're obligated.
Right.
Well, let's get a goddamn contract.
You got to unionize?
Well, I mean, the director could have a contract. Mm-hmm. Remember that happened 1 year?
Yes.
Vicky got a contract, and I can't remember who else got a contract. They negotiated with the Select Board a few years ago, but they didn't tell us about it, and
it was a big brouhaha. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay. Do you still want this up, or should I pull
Well,
your?
did anybody have any comments on the budget notes?
No, I think they were very good.
The budget notes? Okay. Jessica saw them, right? And made some comments, so.
Yep.
Okay, so I think I have to do some research on the budget before I can send it to Ed. I have to find out what the statute is from the MBLC, correct? And redo the second budget a little bit.
Mhm. Is
So
that
it's
too much work?
No, it's just that I have to figure it out. No, it's not. Okay. Also in the budget report, Vicki Morrow was still here and she filled out this form for the waiver, which I had never seen before. And this is what they figure out the disproportionate cut on. And we were cut 4.81%. So in a normal year, that would be very close to disproportionate. They want it to be under 5%. So we were fairly close there. We were cut, if you look at her form, which I don't know if you guys got, we were cut more than a lot of the other departments. So a couple, 2% or more.
You're talking about last year.
Yes.
Well, that should be in the part of the spiel.
I'm mentioning it. Yeah. Okay, let's see if there was anything else. All right, so they're voting on our waiver on March 4th, but the MBLC person I contacted said that we will get it because we were under the 5% cut. Okay, the next thing is the custodian, Dave Wells, has had surgery and he's out, and Ed hired UC Cleaning, who did our deep cleaning after the COVID case. So they've come in and talked to us, and I think tonight's the night they were going to come, I think around 6. Let's see, and Dave will be back maybe as 6 weeks, maybe less. Curbside pickup, we've handed out over 2,700 bags now, and I put our hours in there. It's very busy on Tuesday and Saturday are the busiest days, and Tuesday, because we're closed Monday, Tuesday is crazy because, they have to empty the book drop. They're quarantining, they're taking the books off the quarantine tables and checking them in. Then we get all the emails and calls for curbside. It's very busy. Why being open on Monday would help, I think, for the workload. So Hackworth came and installed the security system, 4 outdoor cameras.
Okay.
Do you feel more secure?
What?
For the outdoor one too?
They're all outdoors. The 4 cameras are outdoors. They're on the 2 emergency exits, the front, and then the side where you can see the park, which is what Charlie Kanicki mentioned. Lisa loves it. She loves it because, if we're doing curbside, she can see a car coming in, and then, somebody's out there. I mean, it's right above her station. She loves it.
And they see the picnic table?
Yeah. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, one of them covers that area. I haven't actually thought, I didn't think to actually pinpoint the picnic table, but it covers that area.
Yeah, so you can see. Yeah.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to come in and look at it, just call us and you can take a look at it.
So how does it work? Do you get a notification and the camera goes off like at night when no one's there, or how does that work?
It's on all the time, and it stores it up to a certain number of months, like 3 or 4 months. And he was very nice, the guy from Hackworth. It wasn't Troy, but he was very nice. And he showed us how you go backwards. And Lisa's getting pretty good at that. And you can draw a line over a certain object like the book drop, and it'll just go back. You can kind of control when there's a change there, you can go back, so you can do a lot of things. It's pretty crazy. And you can see the whole parking lot.
Good.
No changes in the parking lot lights since?
No, nothing. I think, Convy, you told the next door neighbor we were getting it, right?
I mentioned it. Yes, I did. I didn't make a big deal about it, but I did mention it.
Yeah.
What'd
So
you
we'll
say?
be watching for painting.
Did you say you're on candid camera?
No, we just,
No.
we're gonna get those bushes and we'll take care of them. We'll take care of them.
So canopy, we finally got it. It took me a little while because of all the other things that were happening, but it's up and people can stream movies from our website, by going to the website with their library card. And we had several requests for this. So we pay per view, and we've limited it to 4 movies a month per patron, but we can change that.
So how much do you have to pay for when someone watches a movie?
I think it's actually varies. I don't know. I can't give you a figure, but I use the number that Easthampton does. They put it at 4 per patron, so I started with that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure it's the same for every movie.
Oh, okay.
How do the patrons know about this?
We put it on the website.
Okay.
Johanna did it on Facebook, and I think it was in her newsletter. Did you all get the last newsletter?
Yeah.
Well, I think it was. I think that's where I saw it, and I downloaded it.
Yeah.
We put it in the usual places.
Okay.
I did not get the newsletter. Curious.
All right, I'll have to talk to her. What email do you want her to use? Or let's see. What's the email, Beth? Or do you want to send it to me?
Sure.
Yeah. Make sure if anybody didn't get it, please send it to me. She has over 300 people on it, I think, close to 400.
Okay.
So I mentioned the outdoor browsing before. We're doing it on Thursdays. I got the idea from the Westhampton Library. I go to that local library directors meeting every 2 weeks on Zoom. And also it was in the paper, the Westhampton one. So this is our second time we did it. And Gary Thomas gave us all these laptops. So actually, those come in handy with the outdoor browsing. Let's see. So it's all new materials. And we are still putting out the books for sale and puzzles on the other curbside days. And people have been enjoying that. The phone line, I talked to Ed about it, and I explained we've been getting complaints by people that they can't get through to us.
Mm-hmm.
The phone was always an issue, but now it's even more so because of all the curbside calls. And he said he would look into getting us a second phone line. I suggested we could get a cell phone, but he thought it'd be better to have a second phone line. But I think I asked him a couple weeks ago. And the staff really, really wants it because they're the ones getting the complaints.
Well, I would remind him because it's going to get lost in the budget season.
Right. Well, a part of the problem, which I explain in here, is that several times staff have been on the phone trying to help people to learn to download Libby and all, and that can take 15 or 20 minutes, and then people can't get in.
Yeah.
So, all right, so Sora, the nice thing about this is we've helped the Norris School. So Patty Murray talked to me and Johanna, and she was hoping that her students could have wider access to ebooks in the CWMR system. So there's something called Sora, and Johanna contacted a Mass Library System advisor who helped us get into this system for NAR. So now the NAR students have access to all the ebooks.
Well done.
I think that was a good thing.
And that gets a lot more people behind the library, teachers. Yeah, that's a good move.
Patty was very happy. And then Emily made a video called What's New Southampton, because we were starting to get a lot of questions again about curbside. So she did this video. It's on our website, and I don't know if anybody's watched it. What's New Southampton?
Oh,
But I will.
Can
Yeah.
can we put this video on Facebook?
I think she probably did. Johanna usually does. Oh, the latest thing is we got a bear from Manchester
Oh, I
Hardware.
love that
Oh,
Oh, I
bear.
love the bear. Yes, I saw that. That's
Speaking of
wonderful.
social media, she's been getting more likes on the bear than anything.
Yes. Well, that's an expensive bear. That bear costs $500 or $800.
Oh,
They're
well,
pretty-
she
they're
could have
pretty-
sold it for 3,000.
Oh, I
Yeah.
believe. Now, maybe
They were
she
between
paid
3,000
more.
and 5,000 when they circulated those a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You may be right, Maxine. I mean, I'd love to have one of those, but yeah.
They're
that's-
big.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love
Well,
it.
do you know Jewel, who lives on East Street, Renschke, one of our patrons? She knows the woman who owned Manchester's, and she's the one who suggested our library for the bear. So
Oh, nice.
Johanna was
Bring
so,
Manchester back. I miss it.
Yeah, I know.
I know. Johanna was so excited about the bear.
Yeah, I didn't even know they still had it. I mean, that Manchester's, I hadn't noticed it. I wonder if they put it inside for a while.
They might have, yeah. Oh, I think they did, yeah. So then Johanna has her write-up here. So story time continues, and this week it was on Zoom. Sometimes they film it and they make it available on YouTube. So it was a live one yesterday. And then the consortium that we get help from, which is all the towns that feed into Hampshire Regional, they are giving us these craft bags, which patrons love. It's a whole big bag that goes with the weekly story hour. And they pay for Cindy Demond to do the story hour. So it's really wonderful. And those craft bags have been very popular. They pick them up with Curbside Pickup. And then
I would have loved that. Yeah.
yeah, they're great. And Ed Popolarczyk has been doing Magic Mondays. So she puts it up on Mondays, Magic Tricks. That's what she's talking about in the next paragraph. And it was in the reminder. They covered Ed Popolarczyk and Magic Mondays.
Cool.
So we couldn't do the Valentine's tea. And she was hoping to bring back the people who did Frozen. That was very popular. People loved it.
Yeah.
But because of the number of people, would have only been 25 people because of COVID. She's going to wait and bring them back when she can have more people. And then she talks about Canopy and rolling out the browsing books. So that's about it.
Not bad.
Hey, Barbara, I have a question. You can't just order a phone line yourself?
Order what?
You can't just ask for another phone line yourself, just call Verizon and ask for one yourself?
Well, Ed wanted us to add a second line to the one the town gives us. I mean, I
see.
I suggested a cell phone, someone was telling me I could get one pretty cheap, but he said he thought maybe he'd already asked if we could have a second line and he thought it was approved by the select board, but he was going to check. But yeah, originally I was thinking we should just get a cell phone or something.
Why is he against a cell phone?
I think he thought it'd be better to have a second line, and then we would get a new phone system with 2 lines. But if
Well, it's just that in thinking of when we were working on the lockdown procedure and things for the library, it would seem like it would be better safety-wise if you had a cell phone. If something ever happened in the library and you needed to call 911.
Yeah.
You at least have one cell phone to carry with you.
Yeah.
Our home line here is through the computer kind of thing, and if we lose power, we lose our phone.
Yeah, we have the same thing.
Yeah, so I don't know if that works for the town or not, how it works, but
It might be better in terms of budget, however, if it's in the judge of the town.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, so I think we just have to stay on them to do it.
Yeah, if the select board already approved us for a second line or will, then
Do
You
it.
know, do it. Yeah.
You could send Ed a letter saying you'd call him, but your phone line's busy.
I use my cell phone all the time now because I can't, I can't tie up the landline.
Yeah, same. I'm working a part-time job, and I realize like I should be hitting them up for some of my cell phone bill, but yeah.
Yes, Ed and I text each other back and forth.
So do we, my internet connection I'm getting an unstable warning. So if I interrupt anyone, I apologize. It's because I'm getting kind of a stutter here. But was there any other director's report items?
No, I think that covered the whole thing.
Okay. Well, hopefully my internet can hang in there for because one of the items on the agenda was actually mine, which was a trustee email address. I know it says trustee email list, but it's actually a trustee email address.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wondered why. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
I should have asked you because it didn't make sense.
So one of the things that I discovered, so when Barb mentioned to us over email that we might receive a complaint from a patron, I was curious about what that process might look like. And so I went to the library's website and to see how to contact the trustees. And the email is actually the library's email, which to me, of course, we love our library staff and love our library, but if someone wants to contact the trustees, it probably shouldn't be going through the library. It should be a separate email address. So I talked to Becky, who's, coming up in this meeting a lot, but she's a Southampton resident and happens to be a director at another library. So she sometimes is my source. She said that CW Mars will not issue trustee email addresses. They don't do it. So what her trustees did was they created a Gmail account, and then whoever is the chair, you just forward that address to them so that they don't have to be checking an email that will probably never have an email. You forward it to them, and then when the chair changes, you just forward it to the new chair. Yeah. So I wanted to bring that in front of the group. That's something I'd be willing to take the lead on, and then if I'm not chair, I'll send it to that person.
So do we need a motion?
I suppose
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. I'll do a roll call. Jen?
Labrie, aye.
Jessica, aye. Beth?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Maxine?
Aye.
Debbie?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Convy?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Sounds like the motion stands. I'll get on that, and for the sake of transparency, I'll just give everyone the password, and so you'd be able to go into it at any time. And what is nice about this, and I'm not going to force this on anyone, I'm just going to share this with everyone. If you create a Gmail address, that means you'll have a Google Drive, which means I can keep the minutes there and the agenda there, and that you could access it if you wanted to. So I just wanted you to know that'll be there. We don't have to make that move to that, but it'll be helpful for me to have it all stored there. So that's where I'll be storing it. So
no, that's good.
The other thing I want to talk about really quickly, and we can't get into it here because it wasn't on the agenda, it was a little last minute, is so Faith did ask me to share with the group that she won't be running for re-election in May when her term is up. So she just said she's had a great time, and after 16 years, and these are her words, it's time for new blood, is what she said. So she said that she would be willing to finish out the term. And I just want to put on everyone's radar that we should I would like for us to spend some time next meeting talking about what recruitment looks like for us going forward. And the idea that maybe we should kind of always be in a recruitment mindset, even if we have a full board, just that we're talking about what we do and that we have posters, in the library or on the website, So I just wanted to throw that out there and also share her news at the end.
Also, you know, if someone is interested, I mean, they can come to the meeting, you know, especially if it's a Zoom meeting, it's easier for someone. And it would give them an opportunity to see what we do and if it's something that they want to further do. So I think it's a great idea. Yeah, I do. So, yeah.
That's great. Okay, do we have...
I have one question. I don't know. I got a letter from the town. It's a memo that's talking about the town election for the trustees. Did anybody else get one that, you know, their term?
I do. I have one.
Yeah,
I've got a problem with it. So
What does it say?
What's it say? It just says that please be advised that your term is about to expire this year, and blah, blah, blah. And then nominations will be accepted at the meeting on April 6th, but you can pick up paperwork as of, I think it was February 2nd, and you have until something like March 30th to complete it and to return it, and then it has to be returned, and then you need 32 signatures. Did you get that letter too, Convy?
yes, I have it in Faith. Faith, you and I don't know if anyone else is up
It
for
didn't. It
re-election.
doesn't talk about anybody else. This was just addressed to
I
me.
did.
So
Right,
I'm
yeah.
assuming
Right.
that. So I didn't know if anybody else.
Is
Yeah.
Don up? Don might be up for re-election.
Well, he wants to switch out with his wife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's up. I don't know why. I think it is this year. He's
you
up.
might be right. Yeah. My problem is I'm here in Florida, so I don't know how I will get
They
32.
can't really expect people to get signatures during COVID.
I have no clue. And how can you you need an appointment to go into the town hall, they said.
Right. So I don't know how.
I
You
don't
know,
know how
actually,
to do that.
the other committees I belong to, people have put their petition outside with a pen and, you know, under some kind of shelter, and just let their friends know that if they want to sign, just come by and sign.
We used to do that at the
home or at town
library when
hall?
we had meetings.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we
But,
can put it out at curbside, especially
yeah.
Tuesday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I'd have to do that. So
You could send
I
it
mean, we
to
could
us, Convy. You want to
publicize
send
it.
it to us?
Sure, we, you know, can direct people to sign them.
You have to
Convy,
live
do you
in
want
town.
to?
I'll talk with you more, Barbara, about it
Yeah.
after. Yeah.
And the other thing, Convy, is you could do a write-in if you can't get signatures.
We can nominate you at the caucus too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any other?
Yeah. And you may have talked because I came in a couple minutes late. Barbara, do we have any kind of an open date for the library at this point?
No, no, I'm going by Jerry, and we don't. You know, we're still in the red.
Still in the red in Southampton?
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Well, the new report should be out tonight, but I checked the last one and we were in the red. We've gone up by 20 cases. And Jen,
Wow.
like you said, you had a contact and you had to stay home, right?
Yeah, we're home. We're remote because we have a close contact.
So yeah, so
the report did come out today.
it comes out like after 6 today,
Yeah,
I think.
I have it right here.
So are we still in the red?
Oh yeah, we're much worse.
We're worse?
Yeah, we're worse.
How
What do
many
we have
increase?
now?
It was 20 increase the last time. Oh, how can we get to worse?
I don't understand that because here in Florida, everything is open. Everything is, you know, schools, libraries, restaurants are full. I mean, everything is open and they have cases, but it's
We're at
you know,
5.27%. So we are higher than we were last
oh my God.
last week.
How many cases is it? Does it say?
Total case count for Southampton was 313.
Oh, that's the total. No, that's the whole total for the whole
Okay,
time.
Oh, that's,
And case
That's
count
still-
last 14 days is 44.
Oh my God.
44. Wow.
So we are higher.
Where is that coming from? I don't understand.
It's coming from Westfield partly. People go to that gym there. That's what Jerry said. Roots. And a lot of Anybody? Jessica, you're smiling. Have you heard other things?
I used to teach there, so I'm just no comment.
Faith used to belong to there. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Jerry,
I belong there, but I haven't been there in a year.
well, I've heard it from not just Jerry, but another person, a volunteer, said that she's also been told that. It's been the source of some of the COVID cases.
Hanvi, you were saying Florida is doing okay? You guys are doing all right?
Yeah, I mean, they have cases here, but like I said, the schools are open. You go by the school, the kids are on the playground. There's no mask.
Wow.
They have full sports. I mean, there are cases here, and they do every week. That there are people, but people are not dying.
Did you say no masks?
Down here, the governor has decreed that no store can force people to, they can ask people to wear a mask, but they can't force them. So back in June, when we were here, you could not enter a store without a mask. Now, even though the signs are up, you don't want to wear a mask. So you'll see people, families, not wearing masks.
They're stupid, but they're not getting COVID. So something's going on.
And that's what's reinforcing some of it. Now, the vaccine, I've gotten my first injection. They opened it, and it's crazy, just like in Massachusetts trying to get it. I mean, I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning, wait 6 hours in a car in order to get it. I mean, there are parts of Florida where it's still very rapid and problems, but it's amazing. I mean, it's life is just not quite normal because you wear a mask, but it's.
I have two children who live in Georgia, and my son's daughter got her picture in the New York Times because she led a protest at her high school because the high school did not require masks in the hallway.
Yep.
She got sent home for wearing shorts to school. But
well, I agree with that, Jim.
She cannot, get people to wear a mask. Then I have a daughter, and her daughter is an ICU nurse, and Julie's a respiratory therapist, and they're in Cherokee County. And I mean, I can tell you stories where people just won't wear masks.
Yeah.
And Julie said the hospital she works in, there's got 3 campuses. The one in Cherokee County, the counts down. But when she works in the city of Atlanta, she said it's just terrifying.
Okay.
Just absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
And, she comes back from a 12-hour shift there, and she's lost 3, 4, 5 patients. So...
yeah, I think here in Florida, I think part of the problem is if if they know somebody who's had it, they've had a mild case or they might have been hospitalized, but they are getting better now at treating the COVID. They've got a lot.
You're right, Cody, because I have no confidence whatsoever in the governor down there.
Well, that's another story.
No, I mean in terms of
this is another world down here, Jim. Trust me, it's a very, very different world down here. So it's like I'm in a different planet when I live down here. But it is interesting to see, especially among the schools, that they've had COVID there, but they've not had. It's not been rampant. It's really, so it's going to be interesting to compare the states that did allow their kids to go to school full time versus like Massachusetts, where my grandkids are still not back even at all. They're still doing, remote learning. So I don't know, but I can't believe Southampton is, increasing with all this restrictions. It's amazing.
Yeah, but I read on one of the news sites I get on my cell phone, Southampton, and they were talking about Hampshire Regional and the buses, that some of the kids, they've got to drive, the kids have to go onto the bus with the windows down, and there was snow and all. Did you
I saw that, yes.
Oh, yeah. My
dumb.
kids take the bus to school on Tuesday and Thursday, and they come off the bus and they're frozen. And then they're wearing, I'm a Vermonter. We wear hats, gloves, smart wools. We're geared up, ready to go. And they are too. And it's cold, and the classrooms are freezing. My classroom in kindergarten is freezing.
Really?
I have kids dressed in their snowsuits. If their tables are next to the window, they are in their snowsuits and their hats. It's that cold.
Oh, you have the windows open in the classroom?
Windows are open. Yep. It's freezing.
My window's open in my office. Thank you, Convy.
Never mind.
I didn't even know. I didn't know I had a window that opened.
Barbara, did you know that was me the other day? Me with
I
my
didn't
dog?
know. I didn't know till you turned around and went back. It's so hard to recognize people when all you see is this.
I know.
So I'll in the interest of time, I think I'll ask. It's so great to chat with everyone. I can't wait till we can see each other in person again.
Well, I kind of like. I like these Zoom meetings myself, Jessica. I have to say, I think it's great. You know.
I like them in the winter for sure.
Oh yeah. Even if we go back to normal, I still want to have some Zoom meetings.
Yeah. So, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
My second.
Could I just ask Barbara, if you do put out Maxine and Convy's nomination papers at Curbside, could you send us an email so we can come by and sign them?
Oh,
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, great. Sorry.
No problem.
Thank you. So go around, Beth. All in favor?
Oh, am I voting to go? Yeah, aye.
Awesome. Jessica, aye. Linda.
Aye.
Debbie.
Aye.
Maxine.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Jean.
Aye.
Jen.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Convy.
Aye. It's nice to see you all, by the way. I enjoy
Good to see you all. We'll be in touch. I'm going to try to send out a call for agenda items pretty early in March so that we can get that revised and posted. And our next meeting.
Jessica, before you adjourn though, one thing. Last week, you could have still met. It just that, I mean, technically, because you didn't have the Zoom on there, I guess someone could complain, but you still could have met. You just couldn't have voted. So
but really, come on.
No, but seriously, I mean, you can do that. Now, it is on there. It's just that, every month it automatically populates on and the agenda's on there. And you don't have to have the agenda to be that specific. The law does not require you to have.
This has to be general.
Yeah, it just has to be general. So,
okay.
I mean, so if you want to do you want to keep the budget on there again, or do you want me to take it off?
Why don't we try to have as accurate? Why don't we try to have as accurate as an agenda as possible? Since I'm doing it in advance anyway, I can send it to you with plenty of time in advance because we should have the Zoom link anyway. So if I'm giving you the Zoom link, I might as well let you know. And I'll make sure I get to this group with more than a week in advance in case anyone has anything on their mind. And we'll still keep the general on there too.
Yes,
you know.
Well, budget will be on there.
Yeah,
and we're probably, and as soon as I hear about any finance meeting or select board meeting, please come because
it'll be Zoom, right? It'll be a Zoom meeting. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It'll be Zoom.
Okay. So let us know. I'll come.
Yeah.
Let us know. We'll fill the front row as usual.
That's right. We'll be there.
So March 4th. We'll go back to our other schedule unless anyone has any concerns, but March 4th would be the next meeting. So I'll send out a call for agenda items probably next week. So
Thank
I'll talk to you all later. Have a good night.
Night.
Be well.
Bye.